Greetings, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Haile who's here. Hope you all are having a pleasant day. Hope you are inspiring one another. Today I want to talk about some of our Ethiopian brothers and sisters who consistently disrespect Emperor Haile Selassie. I got a call this morning from my brother Selassie, and he was really hurt about some of the things that people are consistently saying. Mainly Ethiopians are saying about Emperor Haile Selassie. You have to examine the history. A lot of you Ethiopians are going by your own personal opinions. You're going by hearsay, by stuff that is not accurate, the information that you're hating on His Imperial Majesty for and about. And you all know for a fact that it is God who elects the emperor. Ever since Menelik I came to Ethiopia with the Ark of the Covenant. It's even in the Constitution how the emperor is sacred, and yet and still some of you still want to talk down on His Imperial Majesty, calling him a crook, a thief, or he had birthday parties while people were starving. First, let's make something clear. His Majesty never threw himself a birthday party. Those were his faithful subjects who threw the birthday parties for him. A lot of you all who are talking trash about His Majesty, had it not been for Emperor Selassie, you would still be in the Dark Ages. Emperor Menelik, Dagmawi Menelik, did a few things. I'm not going to say a few. He did a lot of things for Ethiopia. But people tend to forget that it was His Imperial Majesty that completed what Menelik started and did more. As I mentioned a few days ago, His Imperial Majesty said one of his greatest accomplishments was getting Ethiopia as her first-born Ethiopian patriarch. He did a lot for the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, so to hear other Ethiopian Orthodox Christians speak down on the defender of the faith, you're going to have to answer for that. If it wasn't for His Imperial Majesty, the education that you all have received in the West, North, South, and East would not have been there. It was His Majesty that was sent a lot of you guys, relatives, to school abroad out of his own pocket, with his own love. He had no obligation to do that. And for some of the things that come out of you guys' mouth, and you just relying on rumors, you're no better than the ones that spreading the lies. Because the Father said anyone that believed the lie is like a liar. And a lying tongue cannot enter the gates in Zion. And that's why the scriptures talk about some careless Ethiopians, speaking things they should not speak, becoming caught up in the ways of the heathen, acting just like them. Just like them, and it's not right. Because when people thoroughly examine the history, and they're going to see that you're liars. For all of you all who want to call His Majesty a crook, call him a thief, and say he's stealing from the people, you're going to answer for that, I promise you. There is nothing that we can do or say or think in this world that we don't have to answer for, especially when it's wrong. It kind of reminds me of what they did to Gaita. Gaita never did nothing. The Lord never did nothing to anyone. But they still wanted to call him all type of names, call him demons, call him this, call him that. Every righteous person that walked on this earth, these people fought against. When I'm saying these people, now I'm referring to those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, but they don't use them. Emperor Haile Selassie did more for the continent of Africa than any leader out of Africa. His Imperial Majesty sat on King David's throne and King Solomon's throne longer than King David and King Solomon himself. He ruled Ethiopia for more than 50 years. We're talking about also during the time when he was regent, 1916 to 1928 when he became Negus, and then 1930 when he became King of Kings of Ethiopia. You go back and you examine your history. Those hospitals that saved some of your relatives' lives was built by His Imperial Majesty or built by his father, Ras Makonnen. The education, like I said before, that a lot of you have received is thanks to him. You guys, you love to complain about how His Majesty was going around to the different continents, to all 5 continents. He never came back empty-handed. He came back with programs to uplift Ethiopia. He came back with financial support. He came back with committed people who would teach in Ethiopia for a while until the Ethiopians would take over themselves as those teachers. His Imperial Majesty did more for the human race than any of your parents have done for the human race. When he went to the League of Nations in 1936, he wasn't just speaking for Ethiopia, he was speaking for all mankind. When he went and he spoke in the United Nations in 1963, he didn't just do it for himself in Ethiopia, he did it for all mankind. Now you guys are acting foolish and talking down on His Imperial Majesty when he is the father of Africa. That's what other African nations say about him. Yes, we love Dagmawi Menelik, MIA. But His Imperial Majesty was the one, again, who came and did everything he was supposed to do. He didn't have a harem. You go study the other emperors of Ethiopia. Yeah, they may have been married to a queen, but they had harems. Rooms full of women they would sleep with. Some of them died from syphilis and other diseases. But yet and still, His Majesty, who was faithful to his wife, family, country, religion, and his subjects, he have to deal with this coming from you all when knowledge is supposed to increase with time. One thing I will say, and I'm not saying it to all Ethiopians because it's not all Ethiopians. I met Ethiopian clergy who love His Imperial Majesty, who told me how they used to have to hide His Majesty's picture in a house during the time of the Derg. I met other people who told me how His Majesty would come to the school, give them money, give them fruit, feed them. So for all of you out there that's talking bad about His Imperial Majesty, truth and history will convict you. That I can assure you. And often, what seems right to man is wrong in God's eyes. So you guys keep on talking. You keep on saying what you want to say about Janoi, and you're going to watch and see, because he still have faithful soldiers who pray to the Almighty Abitu Geta Yesos Christos Kadu Selassie, Wiladita Emlak, Kidis Dinga Medium Hoy, who pray for peace and truth, for truth to reign. And I guarantee you, you will be in the fire and you will not get through the fire of adversity. You will not be forgiven if you do not repent for the things that you have spoken about. And not just the Ethiopians, other people too, because you have other people that's getting caught up in the susu, in the hearsay, in the abomination. A lying tongue can't enter into Zion. And Father said, a person that believed the lie is worse than the person that tells the lie. And they're in subject of being judged too. They subject themselves to be judged as well as the person that's committing the crime. If it wasn't for His Imperial Majesty, Ethiopia would still have servants or slaves. The slaves in Ethiopia were not like the slaves in the West. These were war criminals, well, not necessarily even war criminals. These were prisoners of war who had to stay in Ethiopia. Some of them bought land, became clergy. So it wasn't like over here in the West, slavery. Some people, His Majesty used to hire slaves. His Majesty created more jobs for Ethiopia than any of you ever will. So hold your tongue when you speak about the king. You call yourself a Christian? Christians don't speak like that. They really don't speak like that when it comes to God's elected one. None of us is Moa Mbesa Ze Negade Yehuda, Negushnaga Ze Ethiopia, Suyuma Exabier. That last one was Emperor Haile Selassie. So you put respect where respect is due. And then when it's your turn to be on the opposite side, when people are spitting lies on you, maybe the Lord will fight for you. And for all of you who may be innocent, you just repeating some of the things you heard, you have to go out there and seek and search for yourself. Because if you don't, punishment is there. I want to thank you all for this time. Study His Imperial Majesty life. Don't just go by what people are saying, because people love to exaggerate the truth. Madonna Maseganalo, Xavier Michigan, Malcolm Ken. Thank you. Let God be praised. Have a good day.